Chapter 7, Credit Report. A credit report is a statement that contains information about your credit activity and current credit situation, such as your loan repayment history and the status of your credit accounts. It is true that your credit report follows you. Your report and your credit rating represent your financial capacities to the business world. Your financial well-being can help you get hold of anything starting from getting a mortgage with ease to getting loans to even getting hired in some industries. Creditors check your credit rating as soon as you apply for a credit card or loan. Your credit rating shows the lenders whether you could repay your loan and the degree of risk you pose to them. If a lender feels that you pose a certain level of risk after examining your credit rating and report, she would attach a risk premium to your loan amount. In case you have poor credit rating, the lenders would not refuse you. They would loan you the money at a higher interest rate. This is exactly why you must strive to better your credit score. The better your rating, the lesser amount of interest you have to pay. Most people possess more than one credit report. Credit reporting companies, also known as consumer credit reporting agencies or credit reporting agencies, collect and store financial data about you, which comes to them from creditors such as lenders, credit card companies, and other financial entities. Creditors are not required to report to every credit bureau. Lenders use these reports to decide whether to lend you money and what interest rates. Lenders also use your credit report to see if you continue to meet an existing credit account's condition. Other companies may use your credit reports to determine if they can offer you insurance, rent you a house or apartment, provide you with cable, television, the internet, utilities, or mobile phone services. If you allow an employer to review your credit report, it can also be used to make decisions about your employment. Credit reports generally include the following information: personal information, your name and any other names you may have used in the past in connection with your credit account, including nicknames, current and previous addresses, birth date, your social security numbers, telephone numbers, credit accounts, current credit account and past credit accounts, including the type of account, mortgage, installment, revolving, etc. The credit limit amount, account balance, account payment history, the date you opened and closed your account, creditor's name, collection items, public records, liens, foreclosures, bankruptcies, civil lawsuits, and sentences. A credit report could contain information about late child support payments provided by a state or child support agency or verified by local, state, or federal government agencies. Other business pay credit reporting companies to use that information to verify your credit. For example, before deciding whether to loan you money, give you a credit card, rent you an apartment, or give you a job, they do a credit check. Why is credit so important? Your credit report contains all valuable financial information that the lenders need to know before they give you a loan or a credit card. For instance, a lender may examine your credit information to ascertain whether you qualify for a loan. Insurance companies may use your credit information to ascertain whether you qualify for insurance or the premium you need to pay. Employers may use your information, with your permission, to decide whether they should hire you. Telephone and other utility organizations may check your information before deciding to offer their services to you. Landlords may use your financial information before deciding to rent an apartment to you. Who can access my credit report? A financial institution before giving you a loan. A business before they sell an item on credit. An owner before you rent an apartment. an employer before you hire. You, to verify the information contained in the report. What information is accessible in my credit report? Your name, address, and date of birth. Professional experience, name of employer, job title, length of employment, income. Your credit situation, late payments, unpaid bills, debt repayment history, available credit. Information on your public and financial transactions, unpaid taxes, bankruptcies, judgments, of which you have been the subject. A list of organizations or people who have requested information about your credit. What information is not accessible in my credit report? Your credit report contains a lot of financial information. However, some personal information is kept away from your credit report. They are income, marital status, educational qualifications, bank account details. You must remember that the above information has no effect on your credit score. However, a lender may examine your bank account history or your total income before providing a credit card or a loan. How credit bureaus get their information. The credit bureaus get all the information they need from your credit card issuer, banks, or finance company. They also examine your public records, like property or court records. Each of the three major credit bureaus get their information from different sources, and therefore the information found on the credit bureau's report may not match the information found on another bureau's report. Why it is important to care about your credit report. You can request to review your credit report with Equifax and TransUnion at no cost once a year. However, a small amount of money is required to access your credit score. It's not a particularly interesting event to mark on your calendar every year. Still, it's essential to check your credit report at least once a year to check your financial health. You may feel that the information inside your credit report is accurate, but the truth is, there is a probability that there are errors. If you see any information you believe is wrong on your credit report, you must ask both agencies to correct it immediately. Changes do not happen overnight. You need to be proactive. Once the error has been updated, agencies must provide a new copy of your credit report to the people and organizations who have requested it within the last 60 days. Unfortunately, one of the most crucial reasons you need to check your credit report at least once a year is to make sure you're not a victim of fraud or identity theft. If anything on your credit report seems strange to you, such as a bank account that you did not open yourself, you should promptly notify both credit bureaus. What should I keep a close look at on my credit report? What are some of the major mistakes in credit reports? When checking your credit report, make sure it only contains information about you. Be sure to look for inaccurate or incomplete information. Some common mistakes in credit reports are 1. Identity errors. Errors related to your identity, wrong name, phone number, and address. Accounts that belong to another person with a similar name. Mixing the information of two consumers in the same file is known as a mixed file. Incorrect accounts as a result of identity theft. 3. Incorrect reports on your account status. Closed accounts reported as open. They indicate that you are the account holder when in reality you are only an authorized user. Accounts that are incorrectly reported as having late or unpaid payments. Incorrect payment date, open date, our first late payment date. The debt appears more than once, possibly under different names. 3. Data management errors. Reinsertion of incorrect information after it has been corrected. Accounts that show multiple times with different creditors, especially in the case of unpaid accounts or accounts in collection. 4. Balance errors. Accounts with wrong current balance. Accounts with a mistaken credit limit. If you notice any mistakes you can contact the credit reporting agency that sent you the report, as well as the borrower or corporation that submitted the information, referred to as the provider of the information. Your credit report includes instructions on filing a dispute against incorrect or incomplete information, or you can use our sample letters that you can send to credit reporting companies and providers. Disputing errors on your credit report. Your credit report will reveal where you work, how you pay your bills, and whether or not you have been sued, fined, or declared bankrupt. Consumer reporting companies sell the information on your credit report to creditors, insurers, employers, and other businesses that use this information to evaluate your applications for credit, insurance, employment, or to rent a home. Some financial advisors and consumer advocacy organizations recommend checking your credit report periodically. Typical errors that can be found in a credit report. People are surprised to learn that mistakes on a credit report are not at all unusual. Here are some of the most common. A mix of names. Information about someone with a name similar to yours, related or not, is exchanged with your information on your credit report. Former spouse information. Joint accounts can remain on a credit report for 7 years, even after divorce. But even the accounts of spouses who had then separated continue to show up on other spouses' credit reports. Outdated information. Most of the information gets removed from your credit report after 7 years. There are 2 important exceptions: bankruptcy, which lasts for 10 years, and judgments against you, which last for 7 or more years, depending on the statute of limitations established by the state you stay in. Student loans and other types of loans appear repeatedly. This occurs when a loan has been sold to different lenders more than once. Accounts that have already been settled that continue to appear as active. Rumor has it that a lender is not interested if the account has been closed, which means that the creditor closed it against their will, or that the report indicates that the account was closed by the consumer, which clearly shows that you closed it voluntarily. Why not play it safe? Make sure all accounts that you closed yourself appear like a tail on your credit report. Transcription errors. Mistakenly transcribed Social Security numbers, misspelt names, incorrect amounts are examples of human error made when information is entered on your credit report. Sometimes this can make your financial situation look bleak by lenders. For example, you owe $100 on your credit card, and it shows up as $10,000 on your credit report. Missing information. Sometimes a report does not provide a complete picture of your finances because it omits information that shows that you have been responsible. How to go about disputing them. 1. Forward a letter to the credit bureau. Write a letter with a thorough explanation of the error and attach supporting evidence. Do not forget to provide your contact information, otherwise the credit bureau will not know how to contact you. If you have no idea on how to write a letter, don't worry. There are different models of letters in this guide. Remember, it is useless to send the communication if you do not have supporting documents. Within the supporting documents, you can include the payment you made on an account statement where you identify that an amount was deducted before the due date of the draft. If the CFPB also encourages consumers to keep a copy of any letter or documentation you send to Equifax, Experian, or TransUnion. If you want to use the mail to send a letter, request the delivery with a return receipt so you can have a backup. What address should I use to send the explanatory letter with the documentation? This will depend on whether you decide to use the online channel or postal mail. Equifax has a particular platform for disputes. If you want to send an envelope with the documentation, you can do it to the following address: Equifax, P.O. Box 740256, Atlanta, Georgia 30374-0256. TransUnion also has an online section for complaints and claims. Do you prefer to send the information by mail? Mail it to TransUnion, LLC, Consumer Dispute Center, P.O. Box 2000, Chester, PA 19016. Experian has a section for online disputes. Mail to an envelope mail. It is Experian, P.O. Box 4500, Allen, Texas 75013. 2. Contact the issuing bank or service provider. What companies usually have permanent contact with the credit bureaus? Let's look at some examples. Banks and credit card issuers, cooperatives, and insurers. If the provider's address appears on your credit card, send the dispute to that address or call the company to obtain the correct address. Also, if you have the option of opting for a visit to the supplier's office, in this way, you can make your complaint and correct the information in their database. Try to do this before sending your communication to the credit bureau. Here's what Kevin Haney, credit bureau expert at a growing family benefits, recommends. According to Haney, this simple practice can save you a step, since all the credit bureau has to do is confirm your version is contact the service provider company. 3. Be patient while the bureau investigates and awaits the response. Generally, the credit bureaus have up to 30 days, which begins to run upon receipt of your dispute, to investigate and confirm the information you have sent them. After that time, the bureau agent should inform you of the results, usually within 5 days after the investigation is completed. If, besides, you dispute the error with the supplier, that company must also inform you of its investigation results. In that case, the providers have the same 30 days to investigate and correct the information. Remember, the fact that you have submitted a dispute does not mean that they agree with you. Both the provider and the credit bureau have the right to classify your dispute as frivolous or invalid. In what case does this happen? For example, if you do not submit the document that supports your version, or still doing so, more information is needed. Another reason for the inadmissibility of the dispute is that you have presented it several times without success. Our recommendation: if you are notified that your dispute is inadmissible, ask why and resubmit it with an updated and detailed amount of information. If possible, accompany it with more evidence, such as payment receipts, payment confirmation, emails, account statements, transactions details, etc. 4. Review the research results. Review the details of the investigation to find out which vendor made a mistake. The report usually has the company's name, address, and telephone number on one of its sections. This will enable you to communicate with them regarding the error they have in their database. The idea is that you also file a dispute in the company to correct your information and send a copy of the correction to the credit bureaus with which you work. 5. Check for an update on your credit reports. If you have been disputing the errors on your credit report for many months and the update has not appeared, contact both the credit bureaus and the company to check the delay.